Welcome everybody. First thing on the agenda is an update on grants, and you guys want to hear it twice. Terry, I go through what we know that you've done told us, or you want to wait till Jeff gets here and he'll tell us exactly the same thing.
Real quick, we've had 4 parts of this grant we've been working on. One part with the stormwater upgrades, the health section of Okra would not cover that, so that had to be dropped. But the money that the county was investing in that for us, they turned around and give us extra money for sidewalks. So our project for the sidewalks is still on with a little more money. The project for the park is still on, and the sewer upgrades. When Jeff gets here, it'll be a little more detail on that, but it's looking real good, guys. It really is.
And the water lines, Terry?
Water lines is separate. That's going to start. We've got our pre-construction meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready to kick that off. So that's with RQAW and the contractors. And just kind of lay out what we expect of them. And kind of get them started.
We'll try to get a commitment from them as to when and how long, like water, you had concern about water being shut off. We'll try to get a commitment from them of when and how long it's going to be, so we can send out a reach alert. Everybody don't have that to know, but we'll put a notice at the post office and all, you know, with what we know about shutting the water line down, or when it will be shut down, how long it will be shut down. We'll, hopefully they'll work with us that, because we've never worked with this company before, but we can just keep our fingers crossed. Now, does anybody have any questions about, you know, where we're at with that? We still don't know as far as how far they're going to run it up to the resident's house. They haven't come back with that yet. Of course, that's not under this part of the grant. That was part of the Okra thing, how far they're going to go. As far as, you know, run it right up to your house, your meter or whatever. That remains to be seen how they want to do that. So Okra can answer that part of it, not the construction people themselves. Hopefully it'll be right to the house where no residents have to pay for anything. But all the meters are still on. We don't know that for a fact. The electronic meters are still on. That's not part of it that was taken out to start with.
John, I had asked, I remember when we had the meeting, when the bid came in and was high, and then we were gonna have to limit the scope. I remember asking our QAW, are we still gonna be able to go all the way to the house, all the way to residents' houses? Mm-hmm. And I thought they said that they were going to still be able to do that. It's just gonna be, we're gonna do less. There's gonna be the total scope of the water project is gonna be smaller, but that we would still, what does get done, we're still gonna do.
Well, hopefully that's true. I've never.
That was my recollection of.
We never had a really confirmed commitment, because I went back over that one time and can't remember. That's good if it did. I want that. Anybody else have anything on their old business?
Just a couple things, yeah, the street lights. Bruce and I got the posts set. We're waiting for the electrician to just set the lights on top. Have you heard from Terry?
No, I have not heard anything.
I'll check with Bruce. He contacted Turpin and find out what's going on with those, but those are ready for the lights. Our town attorney's not here. I was gonna ask again about the house on South Street, if he found out anything as far as what the town can do. He was looking into the legal process of that.
Just as an update to that, Rob, if you're talking about the house I think you're talking about, I had spoken with the woman who does own the house now, and she again reemphasized that she she's just looking for a solution as well. And for her, she said, I've looked at donating it. I'd be happy to donate it. Anything that the county, the town, anybody can do to help me resolve this, please reach out to me and let me know what I can do. So she's definitely looking for help to get some resolution as well. And so that was just last week that I talked to her.
Any residents have any comments or suggestions on that? We don't really want to get into tearing the houses down. If we get a grant, yes, but I don't want the residents to be committed, tearing it down. You've got asbestos, it's now just gonna cost us arm and leg to get rid of it. We're open for suggestions. I guess we'll just have to wait, go through the attorney and see what legal avenue that would have now instead of taking everything on ourselves.
And then, John, the only other thing I have on old business was I received 2 bids on tree removal, on removing one or both of those sycamore trees over at the old school lot. I got 2 bids. I was waiting. The third one was supposed to come today, and he didn't deliver. He was supposed to drop it off here. Did anybody drop something off there? I called him this morning. He said he was going to drop it off today, but it didn't show up. So I'm waiting for a third bid on tree removal. As soon as I get that, I'll bring it.
What are we looking at right now?
Huh?
What are we looking at price-wise so far, if you're allowed to say?
No, I'm not. I don't want to say
Okay.
because I'm getting 3
All right,
bids.
just curious.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal that information.
Okay.
3 bids on taking one, John, or 3 bids? on
Well, I
taking
had all 3 of them price it
one?
a couple different ways. Removing one of them, removing both of them, completely cleaning it up, including stump grinding, or just laying them on the ground and we possibly clean up some of it. So that's what we're looking at.
Where would that money come from to do this?
Who?
What
Where would that money
fund
come
would
from?
that money come from?
Parks and Rec or Streetlight Fund, I guess.
And streetlights we can use, and there's some set aside in edit we can use.
Did you catch that? Edit and streetlight fund?
Do we have enough money in there now to do that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's in there?
Wonderful.
We haven't spent very little of the edit money and very little of the COVID money. We got 103,000 COVID. We spent 30,000 of that. So, we still got 70 left there for other needs, whatever we need.
And the Streetlight Fund, last I checked, it was around 12,000. Is that right?
Are you with us, Junior?
Junior,
I can see, but can you hear me? Are you there, Junior?
That'd just fine. Like
Oh, he's got him on. That's all I have on old business.
So we vote on whether to take them both down at the time and get our bids?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have to hold off on that.
until we get the bids. Did you say one guy kind of talked himself out of it? He said
Yeah,
he told me
one service said they didn't have a boom tall enough to do it, and they were concerned about using just a climber because of how busy State Road 1 is.
Yeah, we don't let them go on state road.
military.
Yeah, we got you. Can you hear us?
I can't see you, but I'm listening.
I
Okay.
want to look at you anyway.
So Junior's joined us on Zoom here, so he kind of listening to what's going on.
Do you have anything in old business? What about you, Terry?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, under new business, Terry, your comment on here about signatures at the bank. What-
Yeah, we had to open a new bank account for this grant. It's totally dedicated to grant. On the signature on it, but we need another, somebody to do a signature on it. So suggesting, John and Heather as signatories on these, so that, in case something happened to me, we're covered. And then the first of the year, you can add
Oh, so
something necessary.
you're already a signatory?
I'm a signature, yeah.
I thought you were too, John. Oh, this is a new account.
New account,
New account, yeah, but just for their grant.
just for grant.
Well, this would carry into the new
New year.
year,
So
right?
you'd have to change it again the first of the year.
Okay. But for now,
For now, because we got, money has been released, we got bills coming through, so we can conduct what's going on. So, need a motion
need a motion to,
motion.
I'll make a motion that council president be the second signator on this. What bank is it?
It's First Richmond.
First Bank of Richmond.
Junior, can you hear what's going on?
Yes, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, was that motion for both of their signatures or just one signature?
Well, Terry already is, correct?
Right. I want to get him and Heather.
Right. So I made the motion that council president be the second signatory.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded that, we have to have a second signature on, motion been made that the second signature will be me and Heather. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carries. Terry, you can get the form, whatever we need to do.
Yeah. Just,
Now, this is just for the construction grant, period, right?
right.
Okay. Okay, next thing on the agenda is police funds. Tom, the floor is yours.
So a couple of things that we discussed recently. The first would be body-worn cameras for police officers. One of the things when I started is that I realized and became evident is we don't have body-worn cameras at the department. That's a state mandated issue. I don't think it's mandated at this time, but it will be very soon if it's not already. And I can tell you also, just in terms of liability, and every other jurisdiction in the area has has body-worn cameras. We're pretty much the only ones that do not, with the exception of some medical facilities that have HIPAA-related issues. So with that being said, I went out, started looking at bids, and to my dismay, it was absolutely horrible. 4 body-worn cameras, which gave us enough to basically have enough to also bring reserves down the line on, and they could all share the same camera each time they come in, they would grab it. So long story short there, the body-worn cameras, 4 of them, as well as the program that comes along with it called evidence.com from probably the most prevalent camera manufacturer in the area, Axon. First bid came in at $28,000 for four, which obviously it got my attention too. So two more bids later, finally got the bottom dollar, which ended up being a little over $12,000. I still thought that that was a very significant amount of money for body-worn cameras. So went back out, did some research, talked to some other organizations about our size, and what I learned is that there were some ways around that that I think are very workable. And the one that I found would be basically, I could do the same thing, 4 cameras, utilize a very large hard drive along with a computer that will run it, and do everything we need to do for just a little under $3,000. What we were really paying for at the end of the day would have been this evidence.com, along with licensure for the cameras and things like that. This evidence.com allows you to communicate directly with the prosecutor's office. It has a lot, it's a very robust program, has a lot of great features, but not $10,000 to $12,000 worth of features, in my opinion. So what we can do ourselves, the only difference would be if we'll download the video off the cameras and after each shift, and they'll be stored on a very large hard drive, because obviously video is very large. So the hard drive is economical. If after 2 years it's full, we just go buy another one, not an issue. So we don't have cloud storage, but that's something we can look at down the line. There may be some other options there as well, because we're going to need some kind of backup or redundancy. But I still think, and if the prosecutor needs video, I simply burn a CD. But included in that would be a CD burner. And I just simply burn it for them and give it to them. So some small adjustments, but it's being done successfully at other departments our size. So I think we can do it for around $3,000, maybe a little less. I've priced everything we need. We need to make that happen. And I think, that's the first thing I'd like to put that forward to town council and respectfully request the funds to do that. I think I know it's very well needed in terms of liability and just bringing the department into current times. We need to have body-worn cameras. So that's the first thing. Any questions on that before I move on? Any discussion?
Doesn't our Comcast business offer cloud storage? Do you know?
That sounds right. That does sound right.
They should.
That's something probably we could look into. I don't know a lot about pricing on cloud storage and what the different programs are that are out there. I just know it is something that down the road we do need to look at, not only for redundancy, but I think it may even be a requirement. I need to do a little more research on what the laws are on how long we need to maintain that evidence. We would be maintaining them since they're on a hard drive. When that hard drive's full, we just keep the hard drive. We would purchase another hard drive. That may suffice. Not sure. Again, those are things I need to look into. But either way, neither of those are deal stoppers. If we need cloud storage, I think it's very doable, like you said.
And then that low number, the lowest number, we would still meet state requirements for the.
In all
everything that's
scenarios,
required from the state.
the states don't make a specific requirement as right now as far as what you have to have. But the camera systems are very, very, very similar to what I would be doing. I would literally just be going out and buying the cameras. They would be ours. We would own them. They're very reasonably priced. And we would be buying the storage capacity and the equipment to run it. We would own it all. Done. It may happen that, unfortunately, we're out there and we break a camera. Very inexpensive to replace it. I'd come to you and say, if it's even expensive enough that we would need approval. It wouldn't be very expensive at all to replace a camera. That's the other good thing about doing it that way. One of the other things you're paying for with Axon is the ability for them to replace, to give you a warranty. You're paying a lot of money for the warranty as well. That was the other piece of that. So they would replace it automatically if you broke it. But, their cameras were $800. I don't know that it's worth paying thousands of dollars for a warranty if you break an $800 camera. Wouldn't I just come and say, hey, we broke a camera, I need to replace it. So I just kept hitting brick walls that told me that's not probably the smartest way for us to take this thing into the future. I think the best way is for us to do it. And just again, I know I said it once, but I want to say it again. There are other agencies in the surrounding communities that are doing what I'm proposing here and have been doing it for quite some time very successfully. So this isn't something that I just kind of jumped at. It was some research that I did, and it makes a lot of sense for us. It's a good solution, and I think it's a good one financially for us as well. Save us about $10,000 over the best bid that I got.
When does that state requirement go into effect?
I have not been able to determine that yet. What I can tell you that I think is more important than the state requirement, well, not more important, but I think is more time critical for me than the state requirement would be the liability issue for the town. It solves a lot of liability issues. If someone came and said, I had an interaction with one of your officers and this is what he or she did. Body cameras, they don't tell any lies. It's right there on camera. So I think it also is a big preventative for for the town as far as maybe allegations that are unfounded and things like that. Any other questions on that?
How soon could you get them and have it all set up?
Very quickly. The way I'm looking at doing it, I think probably within a week we would have them. Now, it may take another week to sort of get things up and running and get it done, but this would also be a very quick solution. I think we could have it done.
Do we need 4 right now?
So we don't need 4 right now. We could wait and buy the 4th one, but there is no additional cost to buying 4, which we're going to need fairly soon anyway. The cameras are fairly inexpensive. The only reason I'm thinking 4, so we have 3 officers on now, and the 4th camera would be a reserve camera. So what would happen with that is, as we hire reserves down the road, when a reserve comes in and work, they would actually come into the department, pick up their camera, and stay right here. And so you could use that one camera for each room. When they get done with the shift, they bring it in, they put it in the docking station and transfer the video onto the hard drive. So I think 4 cameras would also be sort of a long-term growth thing. We probably wouldn't grow out of that for a while. I think that's a good long-term solution as well.
Well, even if you just had 3, got 4, you got a good backup in case one of yours breaks on, you don't have to worry about.
Sure enough. Would you like me to move on to the next issue, or is there other questions on that? Or did you want to handle that now?
No, I've always been an advocate for safety of officers out there. It just, I'm really surprised that they haven't come up with this before now.
That cost would come out of general fund, Terry, correct?
That would probably be ARPA money, COVID money we can use.
Oh, okay. We can use that for
We can
this?
use that for the safety, public safety.
Okay, the other 3,000 for that, you said, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the other issue is the vehicles, correct?
Yes.
So we go into that.
So the vehicle issues, most of you know, we have two police vehicles that we rely on. The second, or the oldest of the 2, is the Crown Vic. The Crown Vic has been in the shop since I first started, pretty much all the time, with some minor. I think maybe there was a week there where it was out of the shop, and during that week it was overheating. The last time we put it in the shop, the mechanic told me that there are several bigger long-term concerns, that he did not think that spending a lot of money on that vehicle was prudent. That repair to get it out of the shop that time was going to be a starter, in addition to a radiator, and he didn't know that even that the radiator would solve the problem, so he was very hesitant because of the amount of money we'd have to spend simply to find out that that may not be the problem. The problem may be, something internal in the motor. The other issue along with the condition of that vehicle, and by the way, we have both of those vehicles are working. When I say working, both those vehicles, officers are driving them, patrolling in them. So it's important to keep both of those vehicles going. The other issue is because of the design, the way the history as a department, is there also wasn't a budget allocation for cars. We've always just kind of done what, squeaked by and got done what we could get done. And I thought this was a good opportunity at the same time as we address the issue with that vehicle to talk about how we can move forward and continually replace vehicles when they need replaced, but be fiscally responsible. And what I've seen done very successfully in the past is simply allocate an amount of money to the budget for vehicle replacement. An arbitrary number is, let's say you allocated $7,500 a year. Every 3 years, you take a look at your vehicles that are on the road, and if nothing needs replaced, you simply roll that money over for another year, and it just gives you a newer vehicle. If something needs replaced after 3 years, $20-some thousand is enough money to buy a good low mileage used vehicle, a law enforcement vehicle, and many of the times you can get them equipped, which is also a significant savings. So that was the other issue that I wanted to bring forward. Is I just wanted to say that I think it's important for us to start thinking about that, how we keep from reoccurring the amount of money that we're spending in maintenance on vehicles. You're going to always spend a little more not buying new cars. I mean, that's the reality of it. When you buy a used vehicle, you're going to have more maintenance. Police vehicles are driven hard. You're going to have more maintenance, but I think we can mitigate that somewhat by, again, keeping them rotated. Every 3 years at the most, we probably want to try to rotate one of those out and replace it. And in the meantime, we can continue to do the things we were doing. We can continue to reach out to the sheriff's department and local agencies around us that are selling their vehicles. Right now, the policy at the sheriff's department is when it gets to 100,000 miles, it's gone. They want to get rid of it. I'm told they just unfortunately once for next year got sold those to another agency fully equipped for $4,000 a piece. So it won't be any time in the near future before they do that again. So that's not going to be a short-term solution, but it will be something for us to continue to keep our eye on. So those are the two things with the vehicles as I think that we need to look at a replacement. I think we've found a reasonable replacement for that vehicle, and the price is right, the vehicle's good, it's equipped. It's at a place called Chicago Motors up in Chicago. That's a company that also the local agencies surrounding us have done business with and respect and have had successful purchases from them in the past, which is how I sort of got on their trail. So what I'd like to propose tonight is a replacement vehicle for the Crown Vic instead of putting any more money into it. That would then make the Charger, the secondary car, the Dodge Charger, and what I'm proposing is a 2018 Ford Explorer with approximately 60,000 miles, fully equipped with police lights, a console. So the decommissioned Crown Vic, the equipment that's in it would just transfer over. There may be some minor exceptions, and it would need a push bar. Push bar saves you thousands of dollars when you get into a situation where if you have even a minor collision now on the front end, let's say the Dodge Charger. I've been looking for a push bar for it for a couple months now and having trouble finding one, but you can't replace a quarter panel for under $1,000. We can put a push bar on the front for $1,000. So it's one of those things that's kind of important. So the vehicle doesn't have a push bar. We would need to do that. I've checked on it. That would probably be, with lights, probably be around just under $1,000. But other than that, the vehicle's fully equipped. And we have the equipment in the Crown Vic that's the stuff that we need, our radios and things like that to go in it. And with that, I'll open it up to your questions.
So you're talking about retiring that Crown Vic?
We are talking about retiring it. I've thought of several different options, and none of them are good options. I mean, it's just, there's nothing that we could do with it that wouldn't involve putting it back on the road, which would then mean as soon as it breaks, we're back to the same decision. So I think what we would have to do is come up with a plan to decommission it. And there was some, I think maybe it was John that mentioned that I think that car was donated to us. So, you know, we could, other than that, we would want to check with whoever donated it, but, you know, maybe we put a price on it and sell it. Yeah, so we'd want to ask for permission, but maybe we sell it as is. And because it runs now, it's out of the shop. I did not have anything fixed other than the starter, which we didn't have a choice on. So I just said, we're going to come get it. And we did. So, but it does run. It is operational. So it's also kind of a good point if we did want to sell it. But yes, well, I think we decommission it because it's not going to do anything but cost us money.
What's the issue? It's overheating?
Yes. Yes.
Who worked on this, huh?
Dodge.
Who had it?
Dodge.
Contract?
Yep. The mechanic over there is a Milton resident, also a friend of mine. And he's the one that said, you know, listen, quite frankly, I'm scared to put a radiator in it, which is what I think it needs. But here's the deal. It's going to be over $1,000. And there's a good chance that you'll get it back and that wasn't the problem. And he said, you know, I think that's crazy.
Yeah, there's so many things it could be. It could be that, it could be the water pump, it could be the head gasket, it could just, what year is that car?
I apologize, I don't remember. I want to say it's a 2009, but I may be wrong.
2009.
2009?
Up there.
Yeah.
I didn't say that year.
What was the mileage on the Explorer?
The mileage on the Explorer is 60. It's in the low 60s. It's in the low 60s, and it again is equipped. It has actually the built-in lights that they started doing on the newer vehicles. So the LEDs are built in, built on the mirrors, built on the front end, built on the back end. Sometimes you have to supplement those, but that's a big feature. Very clean, good shape. I think it will easily see 3 years until we would start looking at having to replace something else.
Thought we were trying to be out of funds to do that kind of stuff.
It'll be more coming out of the code than that much.
What's available in that COVID fund yet?
It's 101,000, but we have committed 31,000 to the help grant.
So you sell it. So what'd you say the price of this was?
25,000 would be the cap.
And 3,000 for body cameras.
228.
Say $1,000 to add a push bar on it.
Put down to 66,000 in the COVID fund.
You don't have that much money.
You got 31 committed to.
Right, you said we had 101. We committed 31 for the help fund.
That left you
Leaves us
13,
leaves us
28.
70. 3,000 for the body cameras. That leaves us 67,000. Another 1,000 for push bar. Leaves us 66,000.
For the car.
Yeah.
You gotta have the car
Well-
there too.
I got ahead of myself there. 66 before the car, 67 before the car.
And the car could probably split up between ARPA money and edit money. We've got some there for community.
That was my recommendation, so that it didn't deplete any one fund. It was as little burden funding wise as possible, was maybe to split it up between ARPA and edit.
Is that four-wheel drive?
All-wheel drive, yes.
Oh, my God. Well, let's see. Rick, can you split the difference between those two funds?
Yes, we could.
That one completely the fund?
Yeah. Still be in good shape.
$25 each one of them.
Yeah, can do that.
Tom, do you foresee any other equipment needs coming up soon or anything?
Smaller things. We need a shotgun for less than lethal. We need patrol rifles, but I've asked for a $4,000 grant from Community Benefit Fund for those. So I'm hopeful that that will come through. So we continue to look for alternate means of financing the projects that are out there. The ones remaining are much, much smaller, just miscellaneous. We need stop sticks for one of the vehicles. Seems like a Pursuit monthly now that comes through here, and one of our vehicles doesn't have stop sticks in it. So smaller things like that, not anything that I can't foresee that would be larger needs, no.
Do we have enough vests for reserves?
We don't, and one of the things that I've always thought was distasteful and it's not just us, it's every organization that I know of. When you hire a reserve who is a volunteer for your community, we make them basically buy all their own equipment, and it's unbelievably expensive. My belt alone, with the equipment on, between my belt and my outer vest carrier and the equipment on it, is easily $1,500, not counting my weapon.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't like doing that to somebody
Yeah,
volunteering.
it's unbelievable. I will say there are some great grants out there for vests, and I think, that I would love to pursue some of those. I think that would be really, really good. I'm not quite ready to get to the reserves, but it's next on my radars. I would like that because, again, they're volunteers for the community, and it's just more wheels turning, more eyes out there doing great things. So
the reserve position does give them the training to further their career down the road. So
Which is what
it is an advantage to them to be a reserve.
I agree. Those are the best reserves you get, those who are saying to you, I want to go work for a law enforcement organization, because you give them that opportunity to sort of fill that personnel file, is what I always like to tell them. So when ABC Police Department calls me and says, hey, what kind of officer is Joe or Jane, I can then say, they're great officers. They're on time. They show up. They interact well with the community. They do a great job. So to your point, there are some big benefits that come along with that. But it is a very expensive venture for them.
Yeah. The thing about the past, they're usually measured, to fit the person itself, so you couldn't get some and have
Can't
them
just
wait.
go buy
You couldn't just go
some,
buy one, so we'd have to come up with some way to set the fund up to do that.
Well, I've long been a proponent of taking money from general every month and funding however small amount we can figure out what that needs to be is funding the police department. Because when we need to buy something that comes out of general, or in this case, luckily, we've got COVID money available. Otherwise, I don't know what we'd be doing, because we don't have enough money.
Exactly, which is why we know that we're going to need vehicles. Well, it's not an if. I mean, we know we need them, so let's budget for them at the same time as we're continuing to pursue those alternate means of financing them.
I'll that's according to what you do. If you guys want, I will contact Randy Ritter and see what his feelings is as far as would it be okay if we sell that car, or what he wants, what his feeling is, because we don't want to upset them guys. We might want to go back and ask them for another vehicle down the road somewhere.
Absolutely.
So I want to burn the bridge and see what he says as far as what we do with the car when we retire it. So. Hey Terry, if you get the 29,000, if it's approved, what accounts is that coming out of?
It's up to you guys, we can take that out of edit, some of it out of edit, or ARPA, or split it up between the two.
So it'd be 14,500 coming out of each one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 25 for the car, 3 for the cameras and 1 for the push bar, so. 29,000. And if we end up putting the old car for sale, if we end up retiring it, putting it up for sale, we should put a minimum price bid as far as opening, when I open it up for bid. We should put a minimum price on that, because somebody come in and offer you $1, if that's the only bid you got, you're gonna have to sell it for $1. I don't wanna do that.
It sounds like it might only be worth $1.
The run of the car is not gonna be worth $1.
I don't want to sell it to somebody. I gotta sleep at night.
Well, I don't wanna give it away either, it runs good, it just, the heating issue.
Somebody get $1,000 for a derby car.
Sure that, somebody give $1,000 just for a derby car, so it's, if it ends up that, you wanna put them in a bid of $1,000, I mean,
It's gonna overheat on them and they're gonna lose the race. but-
They'll take the last amount.
My recommendation will be that we just be fully transparent and say that, listen, this is a decent running vehicle. However, there's some heating issues, and as such, we want, $2,500 out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of doing an auction.
yeah.
Yeah, transparency, we just tell them.
As is.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry, so just to be devil's advocate, what other things can we spend edit and ARPA money on? I guess just to compare, are we gonna give up something else if we do this, is what I'm trying to get at.
Edit monies for community improvements, health and safety, police, fire department, like thing. ARPA is, we set it up for lost revenue, so it can be used for a lot of things. A lot of leeway doing that.
Because we're also looking at new equipment for the fire department as well, that is coming up, right? I don't remember, did we have a number on that?
John's got the
Yeah, I got the information on it.
quote for that.
Let's make that up
There is grant opportunities for that, that being checked
there.
into.
Yeah, I
so-
talked to Mike Kleinpeter, and he's giving me the information. Mike don't write them, not for those, but there's a place in Ohio that writes them that, he said everybody in Indiana needs to use those people there. I'll tell you what the grant means here in just a second. We're gonna do it. Okay, this is our part. We're gonna have to split this with the township. That dump's not crawled under the,
So our half of that would be $25,000.
Right.
And that's gonna be a need,
That's the cheapest I can find.
yeah.
yeah.
And that's not bad, it's,
But this is, you can't operate without this.
no.
No, those
Right.
uniforms are just good for 10 years, and they're in the 9th year now.
So,
And I wish it had been done long ago, but I wish we'd set up a program where those are split some way. Say, 5 years, get 5 or 7, whatever, the next year get 5. Instead of waiting till everything goes about at once and not split this up, that's been handled wrong.
Right.
I mean, it's not you guys.
You still there, Judy?
The FRG grant is what we're going for, not that's for our
Let's
backpack.
get ready to cut you off here in a minute. Go back into your email and come back in. I sent you another
What you in
link.
here for?
Okay. Hey, Terry,
Yeah,
my code down.
And I was also telling John that the hoods that are on there, they're actually particulate hoods.
Lisa.
The NFPA, which is the National Fire Association,
Okay,
2025, they are making it mandatory we have those. So we need to go ahead and get ahead of the game now, that way we ain't gotta buy them all in 2025.
So what's this, this is the same company.
Mhm.
What's that, that one's 50,000.
This is for the uniforms,
That's the uniforms. This is the
our backs.
Air packs.
air packs.
So, yeah, with the air packs, when we talked to, Mike from Donnelly, those are lifetime warranty. So he was telling us a story about LA County and Los Angeles, that when they start their overhaul over there, which means start cleaning everything up, they'll throw their packs out so they can get them cleaned up. Well, it don't matter what floor you're on, you're throwing it out the window. 5th floor, threw it out, broke the, back plate. It was covered. And right now, they have a deal, if you buy a bottle, get a bottle free, which those bottles are $1,000 a piece. So that's a heck of a deal, you're saving $8,000 right there,
Four
extra
packs.
packs.
And the deadline, what's the deadline on that? By?
End of October.
Wow. So on the air packs, our half is 40,000.
That's grant money.
That's
Grant
grant.
money.
That's grant up on top of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Clyde Peter's gonna get me the people in Ohio that does that, he don't do it. But our part of this one's 25.
Yeah, but you're talking about applying for a grant for this. That's not a done deal, right? You just got to apply for that.
You know, you just keep your money back so you can do it, once we get that done.
Right, I'm saying if we have to put out edit or ARPA money for the fire department's needs, you know, how soon are you gonna need these air packs?
So as possible.
That's what I thought. The last time we talked about this, you said so it's 40,000, 60 and 25 on that is $65,000. Do we have that much available and a police car?
Now, we can't buy all their gear. If the township's not gonna help with it, we can't do it.
And what has the township said?
We haven't talked to them, nobody's talked to them. But no, we cannot do it ourselves.
Richie's on the process of talking to Ken about that, about their half.
What kind of money do you have to put up front to get,
Recording in progress.
apply to that?
Mike didn't know because he never wrote one. I talked to him last night.
Recording stop.
It's usually about 10%.
That'd be 8,000 there that we need.
I mean, if for some reason the township decides they don't want to pay half of this, you know, we have kind of an agreement with them that they do, and if they don't, then we can't get the equipment.
Right.
You're right.
I'm just a little concerned about spending this money on a police car. If we have this coming up, I mean, the fire department can't operate without this equipment. We can operate on one police car right now.
Recording in progress.
Did Richie say, when's he talking to Ken? I thought he was already gonna do that.
Not about, that was a different issue about Ken. I talked to him tonight after I talked to John, and he said he's gonna try to get a hold of him tomorrow, today or tomorrow.
Recording in progress.
If Ken them decides they can't do it, it's a moot issue anyway. Period.
Tom, how soon do you have to let these people know on the vehicle?
They won't hold it.
They're not holding it.
No, they don't hold it.
If you would have said it was two-wheel drive, it would have been a definite no. Was we had that Tahoe, and it looked like an SUV, but it was a big car.
Hard to pull.
Yeah. Junior with us?
Are you back, Junior?
Yeah, I think he is, just a minute.
Change his voice.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Did you hear all this?
No, he didn't hear you. The last 5 minutes. They're talking about the police equipment. The fire department wants a bunch of money, but they haven't talked to the township. They have nothing worked out on that at all. And we've discussed, we cannot afford the fire department by ourselves. If the township don't help, we can't do that.
Right.
But we've got the money to do our share.
Did they check into the police equipment?
No. There's someplace you can lease this equipment he's talking about. And check into.
Talk to last meeting you then.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do a payment plan with Donald. I just don't know what that payment plan would be.
You remember who said it was? Who said it wasn't there?
No, I don't remember. He said you could do it with Donnelly, but I don't know who the other one was.
Because that time we thought it'd be the best way to go anyway.
Junior, did you hear what Tom was proposing about the car?
Yeah.
I'd like your opinion on that.
Well, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea going there. As far as the crown of the deck, I mean, the sheriff's department basically had it out of service. So, I mean, I agree with go ahead and buy the other car, sell them that one. Keeping the charger for the second car, sounded good to me. I mean, all the time can afford it.
There's another thing I'll bring up, I want to bring up here later, vote on. But Germantown has picked up our services again. We're patrolling there and getting checks from them every month.
Pershing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, you know, something else with Germantown, if this works out good with them, they may be willing to go and help take care of this equipment later on. Sounds like Tom's got it going in the right direction.
Billy, got anything to say?
I'm just wondering, if we're gonna miss out on this deal, we buy one, get one free, if we wait around for that grant.
Well, we'd have to wait on the grant, because we ain't got $81,000, period.
the first thing, we gotta get the township on board.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing we never done is terrorists. We never got anything rolled up about it, or doing everything 50-50.
Oh, you're talking fire department?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say?
We never got a new contract with the township. Hey, Jeff.
Hello.
Got a seat right here. Why don't you go right up here?
Okay.
thinking, so.
We'll hold off on this and let him go through his thing and we'll get back to this, kind of, and we'll hold him up.
Yeah, boy, I hate to say no on that and lose the deal, but,
Yeah,
you know, I think we need to know, we need to have some things, there's too many ifs right now. And to go and spend a chunk of money like that, and then we can't meet the needs of the fire department.
We can still meet the needs on our share of it.
Right.
our share is not the problem, but if we don't have them, we can't afford it anyway. So, you know, I don't know what the issue is there. You know what I'm saying?
Without the township, we can't do it.
What'd you say?
So without the township, we can't do it. It's always been that
Things
way.
we're doing, things we can't. Now, let's go on with Jeff. Get his thing and come back, I guess. We don't have to make a decision right now.
All right. Yeah,
I
let's
would
do it.
have been in the meetings all along. Jeff, the floor will be yours, buddy.
All right, thank you. Thanks, John. Can you pass those down, Terry? Each of those.
All right. Township.
Yeah, we're gonna put that on a hold here for a few minutes, Junior. We got Jeff Plaster in here, he's gonna talk to us about the SIP plan, where we're standing now.
So I'm Jeff Plaster, Wayne County Commissioner, and 2 years ago, I came to see you and asked if you wanted to participate with the county in a program that the Office of Community and Rural Affairs was putting on called the Hoosier Enduring Legacy Program. Terry was one of the first people I called when the county decided we wanted to participate. And we reached out to every community in Wayne County. 7 communities agreed to participate. So the county, the city of Richmond, Milton, Cambridge, East Germantown, Dublin, Economy, and Spring Grove all agreed to participate. And so each of us had to contribute 30% of our American Rescue Plan dollars towards implementation of this plan that we've devised called the Strategic Investment Plan. You all received $101,074, so your 30% equals $30,322. And it's on the spreadsheet here. It's actually, I think, Milton is on the back of the spreadsheet. So let me give you just a very brief summary of what has gone on in the last 2 years. When we were selected to participate in this program, Okra split it up into 3 cohorts. So there were 3 groups of 3 entities that were selected, 9 in total. We were selected for the 3rd cohort, which means that we had a year to wait. We didn't actually start the process until January of this year. We were working with Connorsville and Franklin County, Brookville were working together. So those 3 entities were chosen to participate. Terry has been working with us from day one. Hopefully you'll recall when we started out on what we called community engagement, we agreed to set up a meeting in each of the towns that were participating. We came here late last winter, early spring, and met with you in one of your council meetings, and we talked about what's your vision for the future? What would you like to provide in Milton that you're not currently able to provide, and how can the county work with you to make sure that happens? We did that in all of the towns. We also sent out surveys, electronic and paper surveys. We had over 1,000 people respond to the surveys. If you'll recall, we had you each fill out a survey as well as have conversation with us the night we were here. So we worked with a committee structure. Terry served on a committee. He also was on what we call the core team. Each of the committees had 20 to 25 people involved in 4 different areas. One was economic development, one was health and wellness, one was broadband initiatives, and the 4th was quality of place. So each of those 4 committees worked with a university partner, Purdue, Ball State, IU, and Ivy Tech. And we took all of the input we got from those 1,000 surveys, and trust me, it was a lot. We had literally hundreds and hundreds of ideas that we had either gotten from the survey or gotten from the group discussions that we had. The committees looked at those, working with folks from the universities. The universities also looked at a number of plans that had been developed in Wayne County over the past 5 years or so. The city of Richmond had a new comprehensive plan. Cambridge City had a new comprehensive plan. The Economic Development Corporation had a new strategic plan. The county, and at the time, I was the executive director of the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. Terry served as your board member on that group. And the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission had a strategic economic development plan for the region. But most of those results and initiatives in that plan really related equally to each of the 6 counties in the region. So we took all those plans, we took the input from these 1,000 people, and we boiled that down into common themes. The committees worked very hard to identify those themes and to then prioritize those themes. From that stage, that information went to the core team. Again, 25 people representing each of the towns, but also represented by individuals who lead organizations that serve the entire county. So the Chamber of Commerce, Melissa Vance, their CEO, was a member of that team. Valerie Schaefer with the Economic Development Corporation. Mary Walker, who is the head of Wayne County Tourism. There were 25 people, and again, Terry represented you all on that core team. The core team's task was to take those prioritized ideas and turn them into projects with input from all of the towns, with input from folks at the county and the city of Richmond. What we have identified is a priority list that we think pretty accurately reflects what you all said when you met with us and what we are able to provide in terms of assistance. Now, we'll tell you that very recently, just about 2 weeks ago, we met with the people from Okra. We had, if you'll recall, $1 million of community development block grants that would be available to us as part of this process. And we had split that pretty equally between 4 different entities, and Milton was one of those. City of Richmond was one of those. Cambridge City and Dublin. And we were told at that late hour that Richmond's project and Milton's project were not eligible for funding under the community development block grant structure. And so we'll talk in a minute about what that involves. But we ended up having to move those dollars to the Cambridge City project and the Dublin project. We tried to do as best we could to move other dollars around to try to compensate for where we had to have taken away some of the dollars from the 2 that were not eligible. So let's go through the projects that are funded for Milton, by yourself, but also by the county. So the first one you'll see listed there as enhancement of the basketball court and a playground project. And it's in parentheses, creating places. So the basketball court was something that, that very early on in your meeting came up again and again. And so we put together this process. There is a program under the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority that works with towns to provide places where townspeople can gather. And there's no cost to those people to take advantage of that amenity. Very early on, the project was just to repave the basketball court. As we got into this a little bit, I've been working to try to raise funds to help you all, because the idea, the concept is you raise up to $50,000, and if you successfully meet your goal, the Indiana Housing Community Development Authority will match up to $50,000 dollar for dollar. So your $50,000 becomes $100,000. We are working right now to help you raise that $50,000. The county is going to contribute $10,000. The Economic Development Corporation is committing another $10,000 to your project. Altogether, and you'll see on the spreadsheet where it's allocated up to this point, but altogether, we have committed $38,500 towards that $50,000 that can be matched by $50,000 from the IHCDA. So we're very close already to getting you a $100,000 project on the old school grounds with the basketball court, with improvements to that whole block. And Terry is working on that process at this point, exactly what can go there and how that can be developed. So again, my goal is before the spring, when we would start this process, to have $50,000 already in the bank for you, already committed. You have to put on a fundraising campaign of your own. You have to set a goal. It can be no more than $50,000. If we already have $50,000 raised for you to meet the match, then whatever you raise, whether it's $50 or another $50,000, goes into the pot so that you can have that money without an additional match. But if you raise $100,000 in total and $50,000 is the match, you can have a $150,000 project. Again, my goal is to help you raise $50,000 so you can get every penny of that match. And as I said, we're at $38,500 right now and counting. So I expect we'll get to that goal in the next 30 days or so, and I'll keep you posted on that. So that is the enhancement of the basketball court and playground project. The next one, sidewalk replacement, that was also very, it was mentioned by most of the people that were here at your meeting. It came up frequently. So what we have done is we took some additional money. As I told you, we were shuffling dollars around when we had problems with the community development block grant. So we shuffled some more money into your sidewalk replacement project. So that now is a total project cost of $150,000. You all committed $31,000, which is essentially your 30% match. The county is committing $89,000, and then you had $30,000 from another fund, and I don't recall which.
It's restricted, MVH restricted.
Okay, so MVH money that can be used towards sidewalk replacement. So that's the total of $150,000. I will tell you that on your CDBG proposed project, which was stormwater, we are looking at the possibility of allowing you to move some of those dollars from the county around, so that if you want to pursue in the Okra's regular round of CDBG funding, you want to pursue a grant from Okra. And let me explain the difficulty and why we ran into a problem. The money that had been allocated to us came from the federal government under the coronavirus fund, and it had more restrictions than the typical money that comes to Okra from HUD. And so for this particular grant, the coronavirus connection was too tenuous for you to be eligible with that project. The only way we could have done that is if you could have demonstrated that when flooding occurs in that area, that it's impossible for emergency vehicles to get through there, that people can't get to the hospital or the doctor, a few things like that, which Terry told us is not the case with that particular issue, that it floods basements, but it doesn't cover the roadways so that people can't navigate. So if you choose to apply for funding in the regular round, we can probably work something out so that you can move those dollars from sidewalk to supporting that project. That's up to you. That round is going to be opening in the next couple of weeks.
I said deadline is December 22nd.
Right. So we'll need to decide this fall what you want to do, and then pursue that in the spring. But I want you to know that we want to be as flexible as we can with you. I know some of you really thought that project was a good idea, and I'm not saying it's not. It just wasn't eligible for funding under that current allocation of dollars. So if you still want to pursue that, we'll work with you. Or if you want to spend it all on the sidewalk replacement, you can do that. The other thing I'll tell you is the county agreed early on to pay for the grant administration for the CDBG money, the $1 million. That is typically 8% charged by grant administrators. We're working with Mike Klein-Peter. I think you all have worked with him in the past. They're good people. But we worked out a deal where we could do some things for them, with them, and that's included all in payment by the county. So if you want to pursue that, there's a couple of things that he can do for you now in terms of the initial assessments that need to take place that would be paid for by the county if you want to pursue that CDBG grant. So Mike can tell you a lot more about that. And then the third project listed here is the sewer upgrade project. It's an $89,000 project. You had $45,000 available in your sewer fund, and the county is going to provide $44,000 for that total of $89,000 for that project. So in total, the county is committing $143,000 to your project list. In addition, there's another $40,000 that we're going to raise, so a total of like $183,000 that the county and our partners are want to provide to you to complete those 3 projects that are on your list. In addition to those projects, obviously you've still got a little bit of your ARPA funds available. Right. Not sure exactly how much you might have spent up to this point, but the $31,000 is committed. I'm rounding up there. Terry, on do you know the balance that you have?
Well, depends on waiting an hour.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Anyway, that can be used on any of these projects if you choose to. If you want to put in more sidewalks, for example, or it could be used however you want to spend it.
No, we're about to spend all that tonight.
And that's fine too, I understand. Couple other things that are listed under Wayne County projects, if you flip the page, that you may be able to take advantage of. One of those is we have a blight elimination program that we've put in place. It's funded partly by the Economic Development Corporation and partly by the county. There's a total of $780,000 that we will be using. The EDC is going to manage that program, but if there are properties here that need to be demolished.
On the agenda
To discuss that tonight.
Okay. So there is some potential funding there. We'll work with you on whatever your process is here in town, but we can provide some funding for that. So keep that in mind.
Is that, I know you wouldn't know an amount, is that a for sure thing if we just apply for it?
It's not a for sure thing. We'll be coming out with some of the rules, and you know, if all of a sudden we get $10 million worth of projects that are being requested for demolition,
Right.
We'll have to sort through which ones of these can we afford to fund. But I don't anticipate that happening. So there will be an application process, and we'll try to address the ones that seem to be the most needed, that might have the greatest safety concerns attached to them. But that, at the very least, Rob, you'll be able to apply for some funding, and we'll sort through the requests we get and try to do the best we can to appropriately allocate those dollars.
I'll be contacting you on that one.
Okay. The other, another project that you may be eligible for, or some of the folks in town may be eligible for, is a Main Street revitalization fund. And the county has committed $1 million to the communities that are participating with us. It can come from any of the 7 of them, but if, for example, there's a business owner that needs to redo their facade or needs to fix their roof, and they can't afford to do that on their own, we're going to put together a grant program. It would require a match, so it's not going to be entirely tax dollars that go into your project, but probably we're thinking a 50-50 match. So if you've got a $10,000 project to redo your roof, we could provide half of that, $5,000, to make it more affordable for business owners. And so that will be available. We're still working on putting together the guidelines for that program, but it will be restricted to your Main Street. So I'm assuming 1 is what you consider to be the Main Street. Is there a Main Street?
Yeah,
Here?
that's
Right
central.
out there? Okay.
This is central.
Well,
But it's-
we'll allow you to tell us what is the Main Street.
We just have to turn this on for a
There
day.
you go, just send it around. And then the other thing that we have available is with the help of the Tourism Bureau, we are putting together another mural project. So I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the murals around the county. Some of those have been done with support from tourism. This will be an 11 mural program. 10 of those will be on individual properties that are owned by private individuals or by the town. There are guidelines for what your building, the size your building has to be, and the wall space that is necessary. There are guidelines for the condition of that wall, and if the condition, the paint is peeling badly, it'll be something that the property owner would have to fix so that it's not just a 6-month mural that falls off when the paint falls off. But there will be opportunities for folks here to apply to be one of those 10 buildings that will be selected to have a mural painted at no cost, other than making sure your building is, the wall that will be painted is ready for a mural to be put on it. So it may have to have, be prepared, be scraped, be whatever, and maybe primed, and then the mural would be put on at no cost if you're one of the 10 buildings that's selected. So those are seem to draw a lot of people to the county. There's, I think, a total right now of 86, 89 murals already in the county, and so this would add to that, and we'll get information out as we go. So that and the grant administration that we talked about is what the county is contributing to all of the towns that are participating. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you might have. I hope you feel like it was it's a useful payback to the contribution that you all are being asked to make with the $30,000, and of course you're putting in some money from a couple other funds as well. So
Yeah, it was well worth it.
I was ecstatic about it. I was put it to death.
It's been a great partnership. I think it shows everybody that's participating what we can do if we work together. And I'm hoping that we can grow on this. There were 7 communities that opted in. There were 7 that opted out for one reason or another. Some never called us back. Some just said, no, we're not interested. And 2 actually decided to not accept their ARPA funds. So they never claimed any of the rescue plan dollars. So that's where we're at. I really appreciate your participation. Terry has worked on this very, very diligently, and we wouldn't be where we're at without his participation. And thank you very much, Terry. I tremendously appreciate it.
Everything you put in.
This is kind of a labor of love. I think it's
These results, it was worth it.
Absolutely, and it really drives home. We're all in this together. There's not a lot of difference between any of the towns in Wayne County. Just a matter of population, but we have the same challenges, the same opportunities, the same problems, and if we work together, we can do a lot more than.
We even got friends in Richmond.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I say this even for the board and for the community, we appreciate the support that you've shown us. You don't have to go out of your way to come up here and help us, because the thing is, most things going on goes to Richmond anyway, and we feel blessed that now that you guys are reaching out and making this happen, and we truly appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
We're happy to do it, happy to do it. So I would ask at some point we need for you to formally approve the strategic investment plan. That's all of the projects that are on here. We really only focused on the ones that directly impact you guys, but we need all 8 of the entities to formally approve that and show it reflected in your minutes. So if you're ready to do that, that would be great. If you want to review it in more detail, and Terry has a copy, an electronic copy of the full plan, which he can share with you guys. But it's
67 pages.
It's 63 pages or something, and it was done, put together for us by folks at Purdue. And so it has a lot of color pictures and things in there that make it really expensive to print. so I didn't print a whole bunch of copies. I just printed the stuff that the section on Milton. And but Terry has the electronic version that he can share.
You
with
didn't
you guys.
mention 5 days of class.
Well, that's true. We were in Connorsville for a full week of training in January, and there's no place like Connorsville in January, so it was a vacation all the way around.
Is this something we could upload on our website?
Absolutely, absolutely. it belongs to all 8 communities. You can upload that part, you can upload the whole thing, whatever you prefer.
We hadn't done too much of that yet. It hadn't been finished.
Sure.
It's constantly changing, but I think we're done now, so.
I hope so.
Yeah, I also would like to commend both of you for your hard work, Terry and Jeff,
Absolutely.
on this, really.
Absolutely, thank
And
you.
I'll be getting in contact with you about the blight elimination.
Okay.
That's funny, we were just talking about the residents in Milton Town tonight.
Absolutely.
Been going on for years and didn't know how to handle it, but I'll give it Tom and see where we're at, then I'll contact you and
Okay.
see which way we can go.
Okay.
We want a motion tonight.
Yeah. So you guys happy with this?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and give him our okay on this and be done with it.
I'll make the motion and we approve it.
I'll second.
Motion been made and second to go ahead and approve the, I don't really want.
What do you call
So,
it?
It's the HELP Strategic Investment Plan.
Help is strategic investment plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. We got it in a minute.
Great, thank you very much, and Terry, get me a copy of the minutes when you can, and we'll move forward with this. So, I spent an hour presenting this last week to the county council and commissioners. Both of those bodies approved it. So we're off and running, but as opposed to this being done now, it's really, the work is just starting. So
Yeah.
it's getting these projects in the ground that will really make a difference in the community. So I'll be happy to work with you all on getting the projects done. So,
Well, in reality, a $30,000 investment, trying to go 11 times up, nobody's gonna complain about that.
good deal.
Terry, can we get copies of these? I'd like to hand these out to some of the residents. I'm sure everybody here would like to see where it all went.
I have a
For the
few
county.
copies, so I'll go ahead and give you those. And then I've got we got a couple more copies of the Milton section. You can distribute those.
Yeah, I'll get one of
There's a couple more. You're welcome.
Anybody want one of these?
It's just interesting reading if nobody has it. It really is. And it shows who got what, how much the investment will be.
Thank you, everybody.
thank you, Jeff.
Sure. I'll contact you on that block.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's ironic, we were talking about that tonight.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Sure. So if you want to try to get out, you get out that good deal. There you go. I will get one for you. I might know that, I'm not gonna get hurt.
She can have mine.
Are you supposed to go? Yeah,
Here.
oh, okay, I got one, thank you.
How many of these you got? That's every project and how much we're spending on. Got one?
Oh, thank you.
You do? Okay. Well, you got the books, I'm done. Kind of ironic, he's talking about the blight elimination that you helped with, so that worked out good. Hopefully we can get involved in that.
That's what we're on.
We benefited from this, but what the county's done, we will benefit.
Yeah. so. Do anybody have any questions of just what we went through?
when I was talking to you guys about a few minutes ago, we have started patrolling Pershing again, and they'll be paying us like they did before, if you guys approve it. If you want to put that to a motion, okay it, continue with that.
Yeah.
Also, police department.
Anyway, let's get back to, Rob, let's get back to where we was at on the,
Yeah, in spite of my reservations about spending the money, Tom, if you tell me that we need that, then I'll go along with it.
And I appreciate that, and I would like to just add one more thing, and actually Terry spurred the thought in my mind. And hopefully this will provide you with a little reassurance. And as Terry mentioned, we actually went back to Pershing and pursued them about the possibility of going back into an agreement with the police department. And they ultimately said, yeah, that's exactly what we would like to do. And we brought them back in at about a 25% increase over where they were previously, and to the tune of about $16,000 annually, along with a new commitment to also consider vehicle expenses like fuel and maintenance, which is something that, although they may have done in the past, it wasn't something that they had committed to. So we got, within the first 90 days, we got a grant for about $3,000 worth of equipment that we applied for and received from the state, for equipment that we already have now is in the cars. I mentioned that we got a $4,000 grant out for the patrol rifles. So we're going out of our way to really work hard to find alternate methods of funding and bringing money in, as opposed to me just coming to you and saying, I need money, I need money, I need money. So hopefully that resonates with you all, that I understand the gravity of it.
We know you've been working hard at it.
Yeah, I do. I understand the gravity, and you have to be very careful with the money you spend. Just know that I don't take it lightly, and that I'm trying real hard to find ways to sort of help lighten that load. So I just wanted to say that before you vote.
and I'd still need a motion for that. You know, we'd have to get it approved. And we need to get approved that we will patrol with Pershing, because we never bought that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't think we ever voted to approve that.
And Terry needs that.
So as far as housekeeping, what order should we do that in? It's probably, doesn't matter.
You already talked about that other, let's get it out of the way, then move on to the jury thing. Is that a motion?
So the motion's going to be to go ahead and purchase the 2018 Explorer, is that correct?
And body cameras, yeah.
And the body cameras. And the push bar?
Right.
Okay.
It all comes to 28.
I'll make a motion that we use, and we're gonna use,
29, 45 out of both of them.
how much is it?
29.
$29,000, and it'll be funded from edit and ARP money, correct?
Yeah.
14.5 out of each one, let's split it down the middle, how's that, right?
Yeah. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to go ahead and purchase the police cruiser, body cameras, and push card at the rate of $29,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Motion carries. And Rob, that'll be 14.5 out of edit, 14.5 out of Parker line. You made the motion, Rob, right?
Yeah. Yes. Terry, do we have a contract with, a written contract?
We have a contract like we had before, we can adjust it,
To put in the increase of stuff.
put the increases in, get the numbers, I just fill it in. It's electronic, it's like,
Okay.
just adjust it.
I mean, is it something they need to sign,
But good idea.
a legal document? And is that something Joe can,
If you want to,
is
we
it
don't need,
necessary? We don't.
if necessary, we don't need to.
Okay.
'Cause I've got the last one, it's legal.
But do we want to vote to go ahead and approve offering police services to Pershing tonight, pending that
You know, we'll bring
contract?
back next month, bring back the contract, you can approve separately. Approve them doing it for now, and then we'll get the numbers down, and you approve the contract.
What would your schedule be over there, do you know? Like, how many hours would you do?
I won't. I think that's one of, in my opinion, that's one of the things that needed to be done differently from the past. I think it's a collaborative effort, and when we're patrolling, we're patrolling. I don't think we need to differentiate between hours.
Right, it's not like you're gonna say, okay, this shift, I'm spending my entire time in Pershing.
No, and I will
Just
tell you,
include that in your patrolling.
you're spot on, and that's one of the things in the past that there was a little bit of an issue with, is they needed to see more for what they were getting for their investment. So I think it'll be real important for us to just make sure we're treating it as one big community, and we'll respond to calls regardless when they come in, and we'll patrol regardless.
But I'll entertain a motion that we approve doing police work for town of Pershing.
So moved, I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Junior still with us?
No, we lost you 2 minutes ago.
Maybe you're waiting.
He's gonna be mad.
Yeah, motion been made and second to go ahead and do the police patrol for the town of Pershing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next thing, Terry, what's the double wide on Lee Street?
The lady who bought those trailers up there on Lee Street is trying to improve, and she would like to pull one of them out and put a double wide in. And she wanted to know if the board would have any objections to that. And I told her, once she followed the ordinances, but I would throw it at you guys and see what you thought.
Which one's gonna take out, you know?
I think she said the center one, but I wouldn't swear.
I'm sure it'd have the square footage if it's a double one.
Yeah, I'm sure the square footage isn't the issue, but is the lot size?
It's lot
the
size
issue?
big enough, yeah. So that's just what we'd have to tell her, it's just depending on where the ordinance, if she can,
Cause they probably have, I mean, would it take up 2 lots now?
she's still tried it on one, but I don't think she can. Well, she have to get made clear
We
that.
wouldn't eliminate service from one to allow this, right?
We need to
Like,
say.
confusing. In other words, we wouldn't be losing a lot where we have services to.
Not the way she wants to do it, it's if she had room.
So we'll leave that pending.
I say somebody needs to go visit the site.
Well, that's what, the next would be tell her to get with you or whoever, to go over and check your ordinance and see if you got the room for it.
But if it was two sewer hookups,
Right.
and she got somebody out of a place to park the trailers. If it took up 2 sewer hookups, it would be kind of defeating her purpose, wouldn't it?
Well, it sounds like it would only take 1 sewer hookup for
Yeah,
this.
yeah. But I mean, if the trailer itself,
And we're just losing one,
we'd be losing
one hookup, so we're not really not losing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
All right, guess you got the room to do it. She's taking out one and putting back in.
Do you have some contact information on her?
Yes.
She's not, you're really like her.
She just wants to work with town.
Okay.
You're really like her. She is.
Yeah, I'll give her a call and I'll go take a look at it.
Okay.
I'll get that from you later.
We gotta wanna go ahead and approve it, and then you check the location, make sure she's got the
She really didn't need that tonight, she just wanted to see you guys didn't have a problem with it,
Yeah, we don't have a problem with
as long as it's still in. So, she's not big.
it. Yeah.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Minutes we got, Terry. You said so, nothing. August 8th and 11th. 8th and 11th.
Do you have 11?
I don't have 11, all I got's 8.
I have the 8.
That's an old one.
No wonder. Nah,
My fault.
I'm slapping you down here just to make me look bad. Hey, do you have anything more to add to it, Tom?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 8th, 2023.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes from August 8th, 2023. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Entertain a motion to pay all claims.
Terry, what's this large amount for RQAW?
It's on their contract, probably. It's our engineer, to be out of SRF funds.
That's out of SR, that's out of SRF.
Yeah. Some of those not paid yet, that's just been released, so.
Bruce get his pole saw for trimming trees?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that I'm pretty bad on
Yeah.
the minutes.
I don't have any other questions on claims. I'll make a motion to pay the claims for August 4th, 2023 to September 6th, 2023.
I'll second.
Motion been made to pay all claims from August 4th to September 6th, 2023. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay. Open up to the public. Anybody got any comments or whatever? Questions?
I have a question about
Sure.
the issue with the easement again. I think Natalie spoke to somebody before, and there was discussion about it being made into a street.
Yeah, I apologize, I was gonna bring it up and I didn't do it in time for the council. I missed the Thursday meeting this week, I was gonna bring it up then. But she had done some, I think I told you about it, Terry, though. She had done some, or no, I talked to you about it, John. She had done some research, and that looks like, what looks like a driveway is not their, it's nobody's property. It's where North Street looks like it was supposed to continue at some point. So it's the town's property, it looks like. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's not listed that way. It's nobody's, it's just.
Well, that's what I'm,
At the
and that's what I'm
recorder's
getting at
office,
is.
it's undeeded.
Yeah,
And she
it
says
says
it pulls
undeeded.
up just
They
like
didn't
every
belong
other
to the town
street.
either.
Well, what, can I ask a question? How can someone maintain that property or possess that ownership of that property? How does that work? Because my concern is the trees on the property. And I would be more than glad to take the property over, considering I'm maintaining it anyway.
We can't. We'd have to, you're talking a legal question that I would have to go to the town attorney, because I'm not gonna say yea or no.
That's
Who's gonna take over the thing?
I just need to, at some point, I need to get answers because I've already had roof damage because of trees
Yeah.
on my property that are not my trees, that are not on my property. So
Don't-
it's a burning question with me.
Right.
as to
Don't
who's
take it the wrong
responsible.
way, I'm not putting you off, but I want, before I give you an answer, I want it to be the right answer.
I
That needs to be
completely
with our town
understand.
attorney and fill him in on what's going on, and he'll probably call you too.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there, how's
Okay,
that?
that's fine.
That's the best I could do.
We're getting it going now, so.
Okay.
We opened it up, so. But
All
that's
right.
just so it's for you to understand, that's my
Yeah,
concern. I don't know who owns them. If nobody owns them,
Just
Who's
do me a big
responsible?
favor if you would, everybody just be neighborly and get along till we get legal things straightened out, that's all I ask. We don't wanna cause problems for nobody, and we don't wanna create no problems for anybody. Just, let's please just all be civil to it. I'll try to get some answers for you. If you gotta find out something, you will know. I'll let you folks know.
We're just worried about the trees.
I understand that, I understand that, yeah. If I had a tree damage me, I think I'd worry about them too.
it's already happened once and I'm in the middle of a legal suit with the property owner and I don't need another one. And they are brushing my trailer. It's not an issue of whether they're going to or not. They're there.
Yeah.
They're overhanging my property. I'll have to go put effort into it to fix it. At this point, I've got to put effort into fixing who's.
Are the
who's
trees
responsible.
on that lane?
Yes.
Oh,
Right next to
they're not the ones south of your trail, south of there, right?
South of theirs on the
Is
other
it
side of my
only
property.
2 trees on the property?
And one that was an issue last month because Duke was commissioned to cut it down, that's also on the easement
Duke
property.
didn't.
So they're not, the trees aren't in that lane, so they're on one side or the other of the lane.
But they're not technically on my property because I got a survey done and they fall between the lane and my property.
It's
My
an
property
undeeded
doesn't
property.
adjoin this.
And so since that property's undeeded,
It's no man's land at this point. So who's responsible for no man's land? That's our concern.
because, just my thinking is that if it's on, like on a street, tree is sitting off the street, and that green space, that's the homeowner's the homeowner owns that tree. And that's why I didn't know if it was sitting, if it's off one side or the other of that lane, then it's somebody's property.
So like you're saying, if technically the homeowner's responsible for a sidewalk that's in front of their property, but I
Yes.
believe the property line extends across that sidewalk. I believe that it actually shows. In reference to this, my property is well within several feet of those trees.
So
So
that-
I don't know how it would be, unless that was a street and there wasn't, some kind of
So
record.
your property line ends, and then there's that tree
Uh-huh.
is in that area that's undeeded.
Yes.
That's a legal, we have to go.
There's two trees there now, so those are the concerns.
Yeah, we'll have Joe look.
Yeah, just be patient with us.
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Let
we'll
our
see if
part,
we can-
we'll let you know what goes on. 'Cause-
Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been there for 23 years. You guys need to look it up. I told Terry this last time. The lawyer that did this originally when we bought the property, he went through this whole big spiel with the Rumels that owned the trailer at the time, D. King that owns the house at the time, and us at the time. He laid the law down in that meeting at the time and sealed the deal. Nobody owns it, period. And nobody's to park on it, obstruct it, put anything on it, period. And he's right, he needs to cut the trees that are on his roof, fences, whatever's protruding it. Everybody has a right to cut any trees that's on your property line, period. I mean, that's just a no-brainer.
It's not on the
But,
property line though, as well.
It's on your
beyond.
trailer or whatever, it's sitting.
Right.
I realize I have
Any limb
Yes.
that extends onto your property, you're allowed to cut.
I realize I have
Okay,
right.
but what
Who's
we,
liable for
if
it?
the whole tree falls over, because
Right,
that can
okay,
happen,
and
it's
it
already
has,
happened.
all right.
That is what we're worried about,
Okay,
that's it.
somebody has to be
The
held
whole thing
responsible. It
falls
can't just be
over.
nobody's tree nowhere. Somebody, if it becomes my responsibility, I want the land, but I know you already said
Whoever,
that's how that
the
works. so-
Rumels are the ones that originally planted the two trees. Originally, that's who planted the trees, who owned the trailer, all them years ago. But the lawyer at the time said nobody could do anything with any of it. You can get with whoever that lawyer was, Terry may know that lawyer. I would have to dig through my paperwork. I have
Another
it all.
issue, sorry,
But
another issue I'd have would be with my sewage, because that tree grows right next to my line that goes out to the street. And if I'm not responsible and I can't go digging up on the other side of the
Our-
property line or cutting the tree down to stop the roots from protruding. So I'm kind of locked in here with not knowing what to do, how to handle it. But there could be damage heading my way and I don't want to have to
the
deal with that.
water lines are right through there too. The water lines are right at those trees. Probably just need to take them up, period. But the water lines, probably your water line and our water lines, right?
And power lines and.
And power line is right in there too. It's right on the right-hand side, right on the edge.
Like I said, you folks just try to get along, let's all be civilized and let us see what the attorney says and we'll go from that point, okay? Don't think I'm putting you off, I'm not, it's just, I don't wanna give you an answer to something I don't know the answer, and that I do not know, I'll be honest with you. Any other questions for us that we can help you with?
That was all.
Okey dokey, well, as that all been, nobody else have anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I don't have anything else. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Awesome, thank you.
Good job.
Hopefully,
You're so
everybody,
patient.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.